Hey folks, it's Monday. It's time for Monday Motivation. First, I want to apologize for not doing one in the last 2 weeks. My life is, like everyone, has been interesting. And I wanted to be able to wrap my head around what was happening before I had to inspire myself before I could hopefully add some motivation or inspiration to your day. It's been wild, so I'll just give you a quick backstory of what happened to me. I went to London for We Day. We did We Day, and then with my three friends, Katya, Nicole, and Jake, we all went to Denmark. We went to Copenhagen for 3 days, and then we got home to Canada on March 9th. And that's sort of when everything started to change in Toronto and in the province of Ontario and the country, and many of you have experienced as well. Everything happened very quickly. We canceled the spring We Days, and it was then discovered that the Prime Minister's wife, Sophie Trudeau, here in Canada, had been tested positive for coronavirus, and she was also at We Day. I had a personal interaction with her, so I immediately went on quarantine and was in the house for 14 days. And then work changed drastically, and we'll get into that at another time. But I feel grateful that I still have a job. It looks different. I'm not sure what that is just yet. This last week, we did an entire live show Monday to Friday at 1 p.m. At We Movement's Facebook page called Live from We Schools, where we're giving teachers and parents and young people like resources and just some daily, hopefully, inspiration, that sort of stuff. So that's sort of what I've been doing. I've been in quarantine and just trying to wrap my head around what was happening, getting used to working from home. My first week, I felt like I couldn't concentrate on anything. Everything that I would normally turn to for like joy and excitement, I couldn't hang on to it. And I found my brain going in a million different directions. And so I was like trying to like use Instagram and like social media to like help that. And that just made it worse. So I eventually had to take a break from everything and just figure out what it is that I needed for myself. I did some chanting as someone that's a practicing Buddhist, and I did some meditation, and then I chatted with some friends, and I've definitely partaked. It's not a right word. I've definitely had some cocktail nights with friends over Zoom and FaceTime and all those things. I'm starting to figure out what I need. I need routine. I'm not doing great at a full routine yet, but I've got some routine down. And I'm going to talk about one of those things that might be helpful for you folks, but we'll talk about it in a second. I'm hosting this live show every day. For those that are parents looking for content for your kids or your teachers or yourselves, we have a little bit of everything. And again, that's at We Movement on our Facebook page. We're posting videos and also going live. I also just want to check in with all of you. Y'all doing okay? Like this is weird. And the only thing that my friend Mike put it best is we just have to lean into the weirdness. Because like this is our new normal for a bit, and we just have to learn to adapt to it. It was so interesting. I did an Instagram live with a friend, and he has a disability as well, and we were both saying, folks with disabilities, like although I struggled a little bit with wrapping my head around things with the pandemic, I also didn't struggle too much with adapting to just being at home. Folks with disabilities have been doing this our entire lives, so like adapting is just who we are. So I feel like I've got a leg up on that, if you know what I mean. It's just me here, so I gotta laugh at myself. Anyway, I want to check in with you folks. Please comment below. Let me know. I'm not a trained psychologist, so it's not as if I can provide expert advice on any of those things, but we can at least share what we're experiencing and share things that have worked for us since we've all started to adapt to being at home and being physically quarantined. I don't like social isolation. I don't like that term because I see my people all the time. We're here on YouTube, and I'm on, I just had a lovely chat last night with my mom and my sister, and we had a glass of wine together. So we're seeing people, just not in person, which is not quite the same, but it does the trick for now. For those of you that are parents, I'm obviously not a parent, but I just want to say that I see you. And I can't imagine what it's like right now having to work, parent, teach your kids how to decide how much screen time is too much screen time, all of those things. And just know that I wouldn't judge you either way. If you got to put some movies on, put some movies on. Like whatever you need to do at this time to get through things I just want you to know that I see you and that I'm thinking about you. For those that are teachers, I know many of you went to school on a Friday and then suddenly didn't go back to school. And some of you may not be going back in the classroom for the rest of the year. I don't know if that was jarring for you. I'm not sure if some of you were like, well, this is best case because you had like a shitty class this year, or you didn't and you miss your students. There's that beautiful video, and I'll post a link down below, of like the teachers that drove through the neighborhood waving at their kids. Like, I bawled my face off. I just want you to know that I see you too. And for you young folks, I know, like, in the grand scheme of things, this might be exciting, but it might also get a bit old. And so routine is going to be important for you as well. What else can I tell you? Oh, the other thing that I would suggest, I've been reading, I've got time now, so I've been reading a lot, and I've been reading Wee's Wellbeing book, and no one is asking me to plug this. I actually just genuinely started reading it because I wanted to, and then it turns out I needed to anyway for my new hosting role. However, there was a great story in there about, let me get the book. Hold on. Okay, I got the book. I got to find the page. One of the things that I have found helpful, and I do this already naturally, but when I had some like context behind why this works for me, I wanted to share it with all of you. So for those that are struggling and you're like, where do I start? What do I do? How do I get used to what everyone's calling the new normal? This is a great story. So William H. McRaven was a Navy SEAL for almost 4 decades. And so, I mean, I think he knows a thing or two about resilience. His advice is this, and this was advice that he gave to the class of 2014 at the University of Texas. He said, quote, "If you make your bed every morning, you will have accomplished the first task of the day." That will give you a small sense of pride and will hopefully set you up to maybe feel like you can do another task and another task and another task. And if not, if that's the only task you can do that day, that's okay. And then when you go to bed at night and you go to get in bed, you'll see that made bed. And this is how I felt too. When I see my made bed, I think, oh, I accomplished one thing today. Now, hopefully you can accomplish other things, but if that's where you can start there. Start by making your bed. I also just want to say, for those of you that have lost your job in the last few weeks, I'm so sorry. What a horrible time for this sort of stuff to be happening. And it could be really easy for me but you need to think on the bright side. You need to, and maybe you can't right now. And you know what? That's totally okay. Just meet yourself wherever you are. If you're not into meditation, I highly recommend trying it. Oprah right now and Deepak Chopra are doing another 21-day meditation on the idea of hope. There's the Calm app, the Peloton. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Peloton, like bicycle. Well, they also have an app. And their app, all their classes are completely free right now. They have meditation classes, they've got dance classes, they've got stretching classes, they've got yoga classes. It's not just like stationary biking and running. There's so many other classes, so you can just download the app and do it that way. What I found for meditation for me in the last few weeks and adjusting is, although it might be hard to concentrate, don't beat yourself up on that. It just allows you to check in. And so what I was finding was like, I can't concentrate, which means that I'm feeling stressed, which means I need to find some ways to relieve some of that stress. So it just allows you to check in, to just name how you're feeling. And you may not be able to deal with those feelings right away, and that's okay. But at least you have an idea of what's going on. Folks, we're all in this together. For now, I'm not sure what Monday Motivation is going to look like. We're just going to take it each day as it comes. All I can say, folks, is that we're in this together. We're not alone. Please do your best to stay safe and healthy. And I highly recommend creating a routine if possible, and creating a sense of normal in your own home right now. Folks, as always, you're my new best friend. Call me every 5 minutes. See you later. Goodbye.